You will inevitably encounter a traitor in your life. A person with a cold heart is never trustworthy. They are not someone you should get close to, even if they appear diligent and kind, willing to make sacrifices for you. They will eventually forget your kindness and betray your trust. They may be warm to you in the morning but turn cold by evening. Therefore, never become too close with someone who is cold-hearted. Remember, such a person will inevitably betray you. I earnestly ask for your subscription and likes. Cold-hearted people are untrustworthy and should not be approached closely. Superficial relationships lack depth and permanence, and they do not involve mutual understanding or affection. It is important to live life with genuine people and sincere communication, avoiding superficial connections. To maintain meaningful relationships, it is essential to disregard fleeting encounters and develop the ability to discern and prioritize significant relationships. Do not rush into forming relationships. Avoid building connections with insincere people. Take your time and choose wisely when forming relationships. Do not form deep connections with people who lack sincerity. Relationships can only grow when genuine hearts meet. Relationships are born from sincere communication, not superficial interactions. Cherish your relationships. Time and resources are limited, so you must choose and give up on various opportunities wisely. Value relationships and carefully select those who can impact your life. Time and opportunities are precious, so do not waste them on frivolous connections. To maintain good relationships, you must sever bad ones and actively make choices and sacrifices. It is important to determine the direction of your life so that you can grow and develop through your relationships. Maintaining an appropriate distance is crucial. Even with close people, it is important to keep a respectful distance and not forget their value. As you go through life, you will meet many people. But not all of these encounters will lead to meaningful relationships. In this world, many relationships are formed and ended too easily. Such relationships are often built on fleeting interests and lack the depth or sustainability needed for meaningful connections. Relationships that are formed hastily and superficially are fundamentally shallow and are likely to disappear as quickly as they formed. Do not waste your precious time on such relationships. Genuine relationships are not formed in haste. Just as the seasons change naturally, so too do relationships develop gradually and slowly over time. Truly valuable relationships become stronger as time passes, built on mutual trust and understanding. Therefore, when forming relationships, you must be extremely careful and avoid approaching them with a lighthearted attitude. Relationships that lack depth from the start will not last long and are likely to remain superficial. Relationships are never to be taken lightly. If you treat relationships carelessly, they will inevitably crumble. We must be wary of superficial relationships. Only truly meaningful relationships can enrich our lives and lead to deep, lasting connections. Therefore, be cautious in all your encounters. Choose relationships with genuine value and strengthen those connections. What is easily gained is easily lost. What we must cherish and nurture are not fleeting encounters, but deep relationships that enrich our lives and positively influence each other. A genuine relationship is irreplaceable and extremely valuable. Do not be swayed by superficial connections. Instead, cherish relationships that are genuine and meaningful. Such relationships will add true value to your life and remain steadfast even as time passes. Thus, we must approach all relationships with depth, sincerity, and effort. Building and maintaining genuine relationships is one of the most impactful elements in our lives. Do not blindly seek relationships. Haphazardly searching for connections is dangerous and may even harm your life. Genuine relationships cannot be forced. If you seek to fill a void or cure loneliness by grasping onto just anyone, the result will be disappointment and hurt. We must be cautious. Do not let appearances deceive you into choosing the wrong people. Nor allow fleeting emotions to lead you into shallow relationships. When you seek relationships blindly, you fail to see their true essence and end up forming connections that are hollow. Such relationships lose their depth over time and ultimately leave you with scars and regrets. Genuine relationships naturally come into your life, they are not something you chase after. Do not obsess over finding relationships instead. Focus on being true to yourself and enhancing your own value. Authentic relationships come naturally when you live your life correctly. When you lead a meaningful life, people with similar values and hearts will gather around you. Such relationships are not shallow, they develop into deep connections that provide true meaning and value to both parties. While forming relationships can sometimes be beneficial, it is not always so. Relationships can also bring harm. Therefore, do not rush into building connections. I have always approached people with a sincere heart, but in return, I have received only pain. As a result, I no longer form relationships with deceitful people. Relationships with insincere people will only bring harm to you in the end. Only when you engage in sincere communication with genuine people will your relationships develop positively and last. Do not try to build connections with everyone. Not everyone is worthy of being your relationship. People often say that even a brief encounter is a relationship. But you should not consider every fleeting encounter to be significant. Relationships are not about quantity, but quality. If you treat every encounter as a relationship, you will end up neglecting the truly important ones. Do not obsess over knowing many people. Your meaningful relationships are not found in the masses, but among a few sincere individuals with whom you form deep connections. Instead of wasting energy on superficial relationships, focus on those that truly matter. To nurture good relationships, you must let go of fleeting encounters and learn to release them. Only then will you be able to discover relationships that truly add value to your life. Not all relationships are precious. Some relationships will break you down, while others will build you up. Therefore, be careful when forming connections. Only relationships with genuine people can enrich your life. Do not get lost in a sea of superficial relationships. Instead, invest your heart in those that truly matter. Let go of the rest with courage. This is the path to living a strong and fulfilling life. Whether in romantic relationships, friendships, or relationships with colleagues or mentors, becoming too close can lead to mistakes. When you get too close, you end up knowing everything about the other person, and in turn, they know everything about you. While this may seem positive at first, it carries inherent risks. Knowing the flaws or hidden secrets of the other person can complicate the relationship and lead to discomfort and conflict. Ultimately, excessive closeness increases the risk of fractures in the relationship. A certain level of distance is essential in human relationships. The desire to know and share everything can be toxic. The drive to delve into every aspect of another person will inevitably lead to disappointment and conflict. Not knowing everything can actually strengthen a relationship. A touch of mystery and distance is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships. Wounds are not caused by distant people, but by those close to us. Relationships that are too close create an environment where harm is easily exchanged. Therefore, it is essential to maintain an appropriate distance. Instead of revealing everything to the other person, respect each other's space and personal boundaries. This approach will help maintain the relationship for a longer time and minimize harm. True relationships are not about sharing everything but about recognizing and respecting each other's space. There is no need to know everything about the other person. Maintaining distance and avoiding excessive closeness is the key to preserving deep and lasting relationships. Do not delve too deeply. At the end of that path may lie unexpected wounds and disappointments. Remember, appropriate distance and a bit of mystery can actually make relationships richer and more fulfilling.